Happy Sunday. Okay, we're going to just go over a recap of what we went over in short little videos this week for anybody who may have missed and wants to know what happened. Okay, so it looks like Monday on Labor Day, we talked about the mistakes some people make in automatically saying that they have despite having severe physical impairments and they can't work anymore, they say it has no effect on their ability to get dressed or bathe, no changes whatsoever. Okay, so that's what that is about and how that can be a big mistake. On Tuesday the 5th, this was about disabled adult children, DAC, and the 2 ways in which they can lose their DAC benefits forever. And a lot of people, or a notable amount of people, have lost their DAC benefits despite still being disabled because they didn't follow the rules on this. I think they didn't know. When you win, you probably get a brochure sent to the mail from the SSA saying, remember, when you're on DAC, you have to da-da-da. Whether that ever reached them or not, or whether the SSA is still sending those things, I don't know. But things you have to know. And there's 2 major things that a lot of people do as a normal way of life, and they can cancel DAC. So it's really important to know about those. That was on Tuesday, September 5th. Wednesday the 6th, we talked about how college kids lose their Social Security coverage potentially while they're in college, particularly now that people seem to be going to college for a very long time, and how they can make sure that they retain Social Security coverage. So if, gosh forbid, they become disabled, even if it's just for a year or 2, where they can't work due to physical or mental impairments that become very severe and prevent them from working, they will be covered. It's something that I know at that age we don't think about. I certainly didn't. But take a look, see if you have kids in college, to make sure that they're taking the steps necessary to prevent this. It doesn't take a lot, but it's something that they have to do. All right, September 7th. This is where we started our the multitude of reasons, bad reasons, why some people do not file for Social Security disability and SSI largely when they should be. And the reason why they're not is due to misinformation, and they would have otherwise probably have done it had they known. There's a ton of reasons I hear from people when it's 3 years down the road and they still haven't filed, and I'm like, what are you waiting for? And then I hear these reasons, so I'm sharing them. This first one, I think, lists all like 8 or 9 of them that I included. It was from an article I recently did for a paper, but I just go into the first one in depthly, and then I'm going to put out another video on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, just because it would be too long otherwise. And I know everybody wants it to be short and sweet, right? So do I. We don't have time, right? And then, of course, Friday, we had our typical Friday fraud law review. And that was about a man that was convicted, and it was not just SSA related. It was multi-agency. They really went to town on this guy who was doing a lot of intermingled fraudulent behavior, very criminal behavior. He was from a place called Dothan, Alabama. Anyway, he got convicted. Yahoo. And that was Friday, our typical fraud law review. Saturday. So this one was about when kids who are survivors and receiving a survivor benefit based on the death of a parent, how much will that increase for the remaining children when one of the children ages out? Because as you know, survivor benefits for kids are only for when they're minors, unless they are disabled under SSA rules, which is the minority of them. But obviously that's not terribly unusual. It's just the minority of children receiving surviving benefits are not themselves disabled. They're just minors. So they get that kind of dependency benefit. But what happens when one of those ages out, and what increase will the others get, if any? And I say if any because not always will there be an increase. Okay, so that was it through Saturday. I hope you all have a great week, and hope you have a great Sunday, and I will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.